Guys, Artosis here, casting the CasterMuse Star League Season 4. This is from the round of 16, Group C. It's the decider match, and in fact, the decider game between our aggressive Zerg player Sacsri and our up-and-coming Terran player Rush. If you haven't seen games 1 and 2, I definitely suggest you go check those out right now, because we're about to talk to them. Or about them, rather. All right, so game 1, we had a pretty standard back and forth Marine Medic against Mass Mutalisk into Lurker play, where it felt like Rush just slightly outplayed Sacsri. It was a close game. It felt really highly contested, where if Rush had made any mistakes, Sacsri could have maybe killed him. But Rush did hold on, and it was a really nice game. Game 2 on Optimizer, Sacsri decided for a very daring maneuver. Rush had done a wall-in at his natural, which is generally very strong against Zergling rushes, but Sacsri just went mass Zerglings off of 12 drones and was able to break down the wall, and deal tons of damage and end the game with Mutalisks. So you kind of saw in both games Sacsri staying on that very aggressive vibe that I talked about before with him. And I guess it's worked out reasonably well so far. But here we are on Polypoid. And on Polypoid, it's not a map where you really ever wall or anything like that. It's a map that really lends itself to more standard play, I would say. So I feel like it might favor Rush just slightly. I think it's a good map for the matchup either way. But yeah, just with how aggressive that Sacsri generally falls back upon being, I could see it being a little bit better for Rush. Especially when you consider on this particular game, they're cross spawns. So any rushes coming out of Sacsri are a little bit tougher, and any bases he takes beyond his first 2 to 3 become a little bit easier for Rush to attack in the mid game, which is where we're going to see a lot of his power. Either way, looking forward to it. Thinking it could be a very excellent game. Close one, I hope. Taking a look at these opening build orders, you see Sacsri just with a regular double hatchery play. All this 2-hatch, of course. Just getting the quick gas, certainly a quick layer. And over on Rush's side, you can see he sent 2 SCVs out to scout. Figure out, okay, where is Sacsri at right away? He actually sent the second one out a lot quicker than I'm used to and got down here and realized that Sacsri is in the bottom right. But you can see Rush playing a little bit more carefully than you normally would see him play. And that probably has to do with how aggressive Sacsri has been playing here. So he kind of hedges his bets. Make sure there's no Zergling rush on the way. And yeah, he's going to be able to get into his fast expansion. When we see something like this, it definitely looks to me like Rush will be going for a Marine Medic play. Yeah, there's the second Barracks. So definitely he'll be going for a Gas and Academy coming up here pretty quickly. Whereas Sacsri, we'll see momentarily if he's going to go Spire or Hydralisk Den, but it's almost every single time Spire. 2-hatchery Lurker is kind of a weak, really cheesy all-in play, which, again, Sacsri likes to be aggressive, but, you know, that's almost like a bad ladder build. So you probably don't want to use that against a player the caliber of Rush. All right, so Rush trying to keep this SCV alive as long as he can. Scouting around, just checking. The longer you can keep this alive, the better, because you can see, okay, is he popping out any more Zerglings to attack me with? And of course, is there a Hydralisk Den, right? Because if you're going to go Lurkers, you need to start the Hydralisk Den before the layer's done, so you can get the Lurker upgrade as quickly as possible. Of course, we see that's not the case, so he's pretty darn sure right now that it is going to be Mutalisks. Of course, we see the Spire go down in the natural right there. And that is, I think, what Sacsri's best at anyways. He does pop out a few more Zerglings as his Zergling speed is finishing up. Might want to threaten an attack, but we can see the Marine count is plenty high enough for Rush, so he shouldn't be too afraid. We'll see if Sacsri tries to get in here and get an aggressive trade. Sometimes you'll see some Zerg players go with, what is this, about 8lings. Rush in and see if they can trade for some of the Marines, but yeah, there's too many here. You don't really want to do that. Poking in, seeing if he can get a kill on some of the SCVs, not really, but he's causing some lost mining time, right? And that, in and of itself, is really powerful. Really nice moves, to be honest, here from Sacsri, who, by the way, is taking a 3rd hatchery. Not too surprised to see it here. This is a pretty common location for the bottom right to take as their 3rd base. SCV popping in and just confirming. We have that Spire still finishing up. And Sacsri just banking a lot of his gas right now. All right, for Rush, a couple medics already out. He does have his engineering bay well on the way, so he'll have turrets up in plenty of time. Stim almost finished, continuing his production. And you can even see that he's skipped his comm stats for a while here. You don't actually need the comm stats if you know what they're going for. Well, I guess if they're going Lurker, you need them for that. But if you know that they're going for Mutalisks, you can delay it actually quite a bit and get some more SCVs out, which is even more powerful. But you are playing a little bit more blind. And that has a lot to do with keeping that SCV alive early on. Now, his SCV, the second scout, just doing such a great job. He sees that there's a bunch of Mutalisks being made. He knows where the third base is, so tons of intel right now for Rush. Now, Rush getting his range going, getting his +1, starting to build his turrets up as well. Third barracks on the way. I love it. I love what I'm seeing from Rush. It's a very, very careful play. He's been as greedy as he can be without taking any real risks here as well. All right, Sacsri's mutas coming across. Looks like they're getting ready for some harassment. Some pretty well-placed turrets. So he'll swoop in and get what he can done, but there's not a lot of damage to be had as of yet. He does also have the Hydralisk Den on the way, so definitely some Lurker follow-ups. Should be what he's going for here. Yeah, you can see the Lurker upgrade being made immediately. All right, some harassment here. Kills off that SCV, making the additional turret. And this is what he's going to want to continue to do. Just some more harassment here in this area. And, ooh, gets another SCV, delaying that. Not taking too many shots. Rush starting to push out here with his Bioforce. He does have that range upgrade done, so it's a good time for him to get out there and see if he can get some damage done. Rush right now with just beautiful building placement. Look how tight everything is. Very hard for Sacsri to get good harassment done. And moving across the map right now, this should force Sacsri to come and chase his Marines and Medics with the mutas. We have drones being made, sent over. A few more mutas as well. He definitely wants to get up to a high enough count that he can actually fight against these Marines and Medics a little bit. The Lurker aspect upgrade almost done here. But he needs to make sure that he actually keeps the Marines and Medics off of his back until he actually has those Lurkers. He'll need some Lurkers up in this area at the third base, and honestly, he probably needs some here as well. So we're looking at, you know, he probably needs about 6 Lurkers to feel really, really safe this game. 4 would be the absolute minimum. Rush continuing to tech up, adds a couple starports off of 3 barracks. I think that's a great move with these cross spawns. Can't put too much pressure on it, and Sacsri is going very quickly for Lurkers, so getting up to that science vessel tech is awesome. Rush, moving through the center, reinforcing a lot. Let's take a look. Sacsri coming down. He has a full group of full health Mutalisks here. No upgrades on them, but we are going to have +1 on these Marines from Rush pretty quickly here. All right, let's see what these mutas can get done. Flying in. All right, picks off 1. You can see Rush stimming forward. A single Lurker here. He does have a couple more morphing, but this Lurker way out of position. Uh-oh, this could be trouble for Sacsri. Let's see what his mutas can get done. Starting to pick a few off. Coming in with the flank as well. 3 Lurkers. Oh, beautifully burrowed. And he actually clears Rush's army for the most part. That actually looked like it could be an almost deadly push against Sacsri right before he was ready, but Sacsri deals with it awesomely and kills off a bunch of Marines and Medics. All right, Rush backing up right now. Sacsri on a relatively healthy drone count. Still has a good clump of mutas. Yeah, has 9 left over. A good amount of Lurkers being made. Has his evolution chamber on the way for those carapace upgrades. Hive is almost complete, but Rush has macroed beautifully here. He's up to 5 barracks. He's making science vessels. He's got a lot of Marines and Medics. Already has that +1. Second eBay on the way. Already has +2 coming as well. Second gas is up. Yeah, I mean, he's macroed very well. That attack didn't quite do it for him, but he's really continued beautifully. Now, running up with these 4 Lurkers, ooh, a little bit of an overextension there for Sacsri. Rush stims forward, pushes them back. You have to be careful. If you lose this army of Sacsri, you will not regain map control for a very long time. Rush really hitting his stride as far as macro going. Producing 5 Marines at a time. double science vessel coming out, double engineering bay upgrades. Looking great, but Sacsri getting his defiler mount. That is really the next key here for Sacsri. If he can get Consume out, if he can get his Nidus going, then it's going to be incredibly hard to kill him off. His mutas haven't really found much damage this game. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit nervous for him. Rush coming down. The lurkers still left there, though. Unable to really break in. Sacsri going to move back into a more defensive stance. I think that's a great move as well, since the science vessels are out. If he gets caught with the 4 lurkers again, right? If Rush can kill off any bits of his army, he's going to have a very hard time holding. And really what he needs is to wait until Consume. When Consume is done and the defilers are active, it becomes incredibly hard for Terran to actually finish off Zerg. Looks like a little bit of a counterattack coming in right now. Not that many turrets, so he might actually get something done with these. Look at this. Kind of a nice move. Coming in, he's going to start killing off some of the SCVs, building depots and everything, even going after these turrets. Uh-oh. Rush right now not doing very much with those Marines and medics that he has out on the map. The muta's getting rid of all the turrets in the main base, but the reinforcing Marines going to push them back. The vessel's coming back to get some raids. Ooh, some big irradiates going down, and the Mutalist Swarm gets completely decimated. It's only going to have 3 low-health mutas left at this point. Does have his 2-1 coming up. I tell you what, Rush is just so solid, but do not underestimate Sacsri here. He does have Consume just finished up. He has a nice spread of defilers. There's a lot more supply right now for Rush. He's got a much stronger army, but if you can get the Darkstorms down on lurkers in the correct spots, you can definitely hold on for a very long time here. This is looking like it's going to be an epic game. There's actually more drones out right now than there are SCVs. So the economy for Sacsri is great, but Rush has stayed on top of his upgrades. He's got those vessels. He is taking his 3rd base right now, and he's got gigantic production. Look at that, 7 barracks up. Now, the question is going to be, can Sacsri get a 4th base up? Like, he needs a 4th gas very, very badly. You can see he's getting ready for that later tech, getting the Ultras Cavern up. He has his defilers out. He's going to live for a long time. But you need a 4th gas to go into Ultras. You can't just go like mutas into lurkers, into defilers, into Ultras on 3 gas. Terran will be able to radiate everything that you have and just overrun you with Marine Medic. So you need that 4th gas to be able to make that really work out. And we don't see that as of yet. All right, this defiler coming forward. Looks like he wants a plague. Oh, he throws the plague down, but not really well done. Only hits a single vessel there. So good micro here coming out of Rush. Keeping control of the map thus far. You can see some great scouting as well. He's sending units over to all the different bases because he knows that this is all he needs to see, right? He even has his factory floating in an area to watch drones or counterattacks coming out of this 3rd base. All you really need to do here as Terran, well, I say all, but it's a hard thing to do, is prevent that 4th gas from Sacsri, and we'll see if Rush can do that. If you prevent it for long enough, then they'll start running dry on gas on the other bases, and that's kind of how you win a TVZ. In this type of situation, at least, when it's bio against the standard Zerg play. All right, we have Defiler Energy on the way. Defiler's starting to come out. He does have Plague. He has Consumed, so this is where he starts coming out trying to look for value, but oh, the vessel comes down hunting. He has a science facility floating forward as well, doing everything he can to try to stop anything from walking out like Defilers. Oh, great Scourge right there. Picks off that full energy vessel, and Irradiate comes down on this Defiler. And notice the entire army running backwards. He does not want to get plagued, and in fact does dodge that. Now Sacsri has pushed out and gotten a couple lurkers here for this 4th base, but they were both irradiated. So I mean, as soon as they die, Rush is just going to stim up here and get a cancel on this base. And then another Defiler coming over. But yeah, you can see he denies that 4th. Really, this is what this game is supposed to look like, and I'm getting chills just watching it because these guys are so on top of exactly what they need to get done. Sacsri fighting tooth and nail, trying to get out here, get some value on some plagues, throw down the Dark Swarms, keep this Marine Medic off of his back so that he can actually get his 4th gas. But Rush, he's floating his buildings everywhere. He's starting to spread out little groups of units and just make sure that that 4th gas cannot get up. Well, Sacsri actually has bit the bullet here. He's added a bunch of Ultras. He's got Scourge in here as well, and these combo very, very well. The Scourge have low targeting priority, so if he attacks in with everything at once, then a lot of times what will happen is the Marine Medic will target down things like Ultras that are hard to kill, and then you can Scourge the vessels. But if he does not Scourge these vessels, then all this gas that he spent on the Ultras might end up backfiring. Make no mistake, like, this is a scary army, but if Rush deals with it, Sacsri is going to be very, very low on gas. All right, I hear more consumes going down. Let's zoom out a little bit. You see all these vessels coming in. He really wants to weaken everything before it actually fights him. Here we go. Some great Scourge come in to hit a bunch of these vessels. He loses several. Radiate's being cast on Ultras right now instead of Defilers. Okay, now he finally gets those Defilers as well. Plague goes down, and a lot of the vessels have been killed. He's going to start to kill off some of these Marines and Medics in the center, but Rush has macroed up very, very heavily. One more Defiler coming up through the map. The Ultras have taken a huge amount of damage, and Sacsri looks like he may finally get his 4th gas up. He has 2 Lurkers on top of this hatchery. The hatchery on the way. Now, of course, Rush during this has added additional bases as well. We don't see a plan as far as more tech out of him as of yet. The science facility is way down here, so he can't go battle cruisers. Can't make that add-on. Just adding some more barracks so he can get more macro going. Continuing this vessel production as well. And Sacsri maybe pushing a little bit too hard here. He's trying to get right up into his face. I think he just wants a plague. Okay, well, he throws down... I mean, he's leapfrogging through the Dark Swarms, which is really nice, but I'm not sure exactly how much this gets you. All right, some more Ultra Ling running up right now. Rush kind of walking around, trying to stay out of this. Like, I think you just have to let this run out, right? You can throw your Radiates down, but the Terran units simply cannot hurt that which is under Dark Swarm. Some more Scourge flying out onto the map. Looks like a little counterattack coming down from Sacsri as well. Sending some Ultras, sending some Lings over. But the bunker is going to get repaired enough that it doesn't look like he'll quite break through. Sacsri actually spending a lot of his gas here. He's letting some of his Defilers die. He's throwing some of his Ultras away as well, trying to keep Rush off his back. Now, is that going to pay off? We're going to see. Rush trying to do a counterattack over here at the 3rd. Couple Lurkers in a beautiful location. Look at this location. Just killing the Marines as they come up through this bottleneck. So much damage from these 2 Lurkers. The flank of the Lings. And it looks like he will be able to hold on to this base for now. A flank coming in with some Ultra Ling and a single Defiler as well. Doesn't really need that Dark Storm, but is cheap anyways. Throws it down. And finally, we see the first pieces of gas being mined off this 4th, but it is a very late 4th. The main gas is going to be running out very, very shortly here, as you can see. And, I mean, even this one is going to run out quite quickly as well. That's about 2.5 minutes left on that geyser. You know, it's going to be pretty dire for Sacsri. As we see it, he keeps sending units up here. Loses a couple more Ultras. This Ultra already irradiated. Down goes this Defiler as well. It'll get some more spells down. But I think Rush has done a good job of starving the economy out of Sacsri. Sacsri continuing to produce these Zerglings. He does have that gas up. It is really important, but look at this. Depleted now. You're getting 1/4 as much gas from here. This one, again, we have 2 minutes left on it. So Sacsri, he's only on like 3.25 gas at the moment. All right, a little attack up. I love the Fire Bat in the bunker, really making this a lot harder for Sacsri to kill for free. Well, I guess the way to say it is he can't kill for free anymore because the Fire Bat's in the bunkers. Throws down those Dark Storms, though, and the Zerglings are still going to be highly effective. Looks like Rush getting into position to try to kill this base off right now. Be attacking over into 3 o'clock. Nothing comes through the Nidus as of yet. Oh, a ton of ultras popping out for that defense. Rush will quickly pull down the ramp. Let's take a look what's going down here. He has a few Dark Swarms up. Not a whole lot. Only a few units up here at that gas expansion for Rush, his 4th base. So we'll see if Sacsri can break through that. Some good irradiates on these ultras. A good spread and hold position from Sacsri, making sure the ultras don't kill all of his drones up here. Rush stemming up and killing off that Nidus. It looks like he wants to fight. He damaged the ultras quite a bit, so he should be able to plow through. He does have that +3 attack upgrade, keeping on top of his upgrades all throughout this game here. Sacsri really does need to hold on to this base. If he loses this base, I think it's just about game for him. He just is not going to have enough gas to get anything done anymore at that point. Throws down that Dark Swarm, but Rush just going to stem forward, keep these 2 medics on the ramp to try to slow down anything coming in. An Ultra pops out, though, which will definitely help. And although he loses some of his drones, he will save the base. All right, let's take a look. What is Rush up to? Continuing to macro heavily. He's up to 9 barracks. Still has the double starport, which doesn't really spend 3 geysers worth of gas. So he has built up a bit of a gas bank, but incredibly hard to spend that in the Terran versus Zerg matchup when you're going for SK Terran, Marine Medic Science Vessel. Over on Sacsri's side, he's about to finish up. I believe that's his +3 carapace. Yep, it certainly is. So that's a very powerful upgrade for him. It's going to put him even on the armor upgrades with the attack upgrades of Rush. Continuing to produce some ultras here. Has his defilers out on the map. Wow, a lot of fire bats being added in right now. A really good move considering he knows how many lings have to be made by his opponent. Another Dark Swarm and the ultras running up into his gas base. But Rush has a lot of gas banked up right now. So this gas income, not as important. And he still has the extra mineral income there. So even though this is a good move from Sacsri, not doing as much as it might look like. All right, another move from Rush over here with his mass fire bats going towards this base. A Nidus on the way, but not yet ready. The fire bats, of course, will do almost nothing against this Ultralisk. Especially if it's irradiated, it'll kill them so quickly. All right, the rest of Sacsri's army coming over for the flank. So he's going to rush up here right now, trying to target down that Nidus as quickly as possible. He will end up getting it. Pulls up onto the ramp. Look at this. This is such a hard area to break. He throws down the Plague, throws down the Dark Swarm, but it'll take a while still. Only a single Ultra on the other side. He's got to get these Lings up there as well. I think he will hold once again. Sacsri. This guy's got snake blood just holding on to this 4th base throughout. Rush playing a beautiful game, but unable to fully break him. See that supply differential right now? Rush definitely still with a bigger army, but dealing so much damage to the economy of Sacsri. Sacsri's gas income just down to a dribble at this point. Let's see how much this is on. Okay, he's only got 3 minutes left of that geyser. All right, Ultra Ling coming up. Another Dark Swarm here at that 4th base. Rush trying to hold on. Of course, under the Dark Swarm, his Marines can't do it. You just can't fight Ultras under Dark Swarm. A lot of vessels still left alive. It's kind of funny. He still has his factory down here watching. Still has his science facility. Still has a small group making sure these 2 gases can't be taken. But Sacsri not even thinking about that right now. He's trying to delay mining here of Rush. If he can just get both of these bases gone, then he can hold on and actually win. But it's looking pretty tough. The macro of Rush here has been unbelievable. Another attack comes up. The 2 lurkers come as well, but with that beautiful defense matrix and this many 3-2 Marines, I think Rush will easily push this back. And now as Sacsri, I mean, he's re-droning his 4th base. But look at this now. He's down to 33 drones. What is he producing? Very few Ultras. I mean, he's making as many Lings as he can, but the Zerglings at this point in the game not doing as well. They can attack like very quickly, but big groups of Marine Medic will just destroy them. Looks like Rush once again tries the Eraser over here, but Sacsri this time ready with some Scourge. Take down that vessel. Radiating so many Ultras. It's hard for him to even build Scourge at this point, right? Because he's making Defilers, he's making Ultras. But it's hard. Like, you're running out of gas. All right, he comes up with this full attack, but the 2 bunkers already. Sacsri getting on top of them, targeting them down as best he can. This 4th base, though, Rush doing the counterattack. Looks like the repair and the reinforcements might be enough to slow this down while Rush rushes into the 4th base. He's going to take down that Nidus before it finishes, which means this hatchery finally going to fall. And that means that Sacsri's economy almost gone. His counterattack in the meantime, a couple ultras are left, sure, but it's not going to be able to break through this area with all these SCVs, Marines, and the bunker fighting. The rest of the army of Rush turning around, getting ready to come home. Single Defiler walks to the north, but the Radiate will come out and punish it. And wow, I tell you what, this has been a fantastic game, but I think Sacsri is out of gas, both figuratively and literally. He's down to about 70 supply. Few Zerglings left over. He's rallying out into the map. I mean, he's forced this to lift. He forced this to lift several times, but Rush has held on beautifully, stimming into the natural, taking out a lot of the static D, going to be able to take out just about everything. The income at the natural being destroyed. The rest of Sacsri's army coming in for a flank. Tons of defense matrices going down, and his cost efficiency just going to be too high. I think this is the end of the line for Sacsri. He has a couple ultras making. That is his last chance, but with almost no drones left over, I guess he is trying to sneak this bottom left base, but that's it. GG, Rush going to advance to the round of 8.